Well, guys, there it is. We got the phone call to shut things down. It's too hot, too dry, too windy. Everything's against us right now. It's province-wide ban, I believe. You can go on the DNR website. There's a burn permit page on there for Forest Fire Watch. It shows a map in New Brunswick, shows areas when you can burn. Green means burn, yellow means you can burn between 8 to 2, or after 8 you can burn, and then red means you can't have any fires, period, stuff like that. So you can check that out on the DNR website on the internet. But I have noticed since yesterday, I was on site a few times with on Facebook. Some of the news stations were putting it on there, and a lot of people are all upset over saying that this is just government control and all of this, and they're trying to control us like they controlled us in COVID and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, this is what happens almost every year. Like, it gets hot, it gets dry. If we don't get rain, we shut it down. Now, I don't agree with what Nova Scotia did, saying, you can't go for hikes in your own property. You can't walk out through the woods. Now, I think what they're trying to avoid is the fact that those people with no common sense would go out with a cigarette or something like that, or once it gets dark, they might go have a campfire or something like that. That's where stuff gets out of control, and those little things, being so dry, can cause major fires. The $25,000 fine means they're very serious about it. Down there, we don't have those same regulations, I don't think, that I've heard of in New Brunswick. But, this is what we're dealing with right now. I don't know right now the full details of some of the areas going through partial shutdown, if there's modified work hours or if there's a full shutdown. I have no idea. I haven't got that. I just got the phone call to shut her down. And I did have a question on one of my sites where some people asked me how come we do modified hours, because a fire can start at any time. That is true. Yes, fires can start at any time, but in the night, chances are there's dew on the ground this time of year. I don't know if you've been out at 3 a.m. in the morning or overnight. It's been chilly, 7-8 degrees. This morning was the warmest morning at 12 degrees. And at 7 and 8 degrees, when you get up in the morning, there's dew on your windshield, which means there's dew on the grass. It's not enough to completely moisten everything, but it's enough to, change things at night. Plus, it's cooler. The other question I had was, if it's so desperate dry, how come we're in the woods and how come we're allowed to log? First of all, yes, I get it. First thing, if you're not into the situation, you think, oh, the first thing you got to do is get rid of the loggers. They're all in the woods. No. Let me tell you right off the bat, you want us in the woods, because usually we're the ones that spot the fires. We're the ones that call them in. We're the ones that have our own water tanks, our own firefighting gear, and usually we're the first ones to go to a fire. In sequence, if there's a forest fire, we will call the fire grid in to where the fire is. The planes will get in the air within 45 minutes. They're quick. And in New Brunswick, we have lots of planes. They don't mess around. They get to the fire quick. Biggest thing that we can't fight is wind. When you get on the ground, we have tanker trucks through DNR. Irving has tanker trucks. We have water gear. But those water trucks only can do so much. They can't get right in and fight the forest fire. The planes fight the fire. So what we do is we build breaks. We take the feller bunchers. So the first machine that will leave a site is a feller buncher. They're the first one shut down, also the first one to leave a site, the first one to land on a fire, besides the DNR and all that. Why? Very quickly, they can get trees on the ground and cause a fire break. So they will so let's say right here behind me, let's say the fire is coming this way, they'll go in and they'll cut a big strip all the way through as fast as they can, lay a fire break so the fire comes up to it, doesn't have any more trees. Yes, it can still jump, but they try to detain it that way. They take dozers, excavators. Harvesters do not go to fires. I've never been called to a fire on a harvester to take the harvester, just because speed-wise they're not the machine. That's why you want the buncher. Porters or forwarders do get the call. What happens is after the fire goes out, they don't technically fight directly into the fire, but they will go around with a ground crew with water tanks on the Porter, and they'll go around in hot spots. So they'll make sure that if they see a little spot that's smoldering after the fire goes through, they stomp it out, water it, make sure everything's there, it's out, and they'll go around all the site and follow the fire. So basically they're going to have a crew that just walks around with them. It's not a high speed thing, it's just follow to make sure there's no hot spots. So hopefully that answers a few questions to this whole forest fire thing. This is common. Quit freaking out there. The public is going nuts because, oh, we're all COVID. No, this happens. And in New Brunswick, we try to be proactive. I had somebody say, oh, Irving will cut right through it. Well, you know what? Irving was the first people to make the call to shut down. So you got to give them credit. I'll give credit where credit's due. I don't care who it is. Irving made the first call to shut it down. I don't work on an Irving site right now. I got the call here a while ago, shut it down. Made sure my machine was nice and cool, got everything ready to go, no chance of fire, and it's parked. So we're doing what exactly we usually do. Nothing's changing. The government didn't come in and say, you can't walk through. They didn't tell us we're going to have these huge fines, all of that. We're using common sense, we're using our brains, and we're using the knowledge we have gained over the years to be proactive, to keep fires out of our province. Our logging industry does help a lot, so don't diss it when it comes to forest fires. I'm sure occasionally fires get started on logging sites. I have heard of it happen, but more often than not, they don't start here. They don't start on logging sites. We're ready. We have our gear. So don't blame us. Most of the time it's somebody on an ATV. It's a lightning strike, glass bottle. There's a lot of things that can start a fire, not just the loggers. So for now, I hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the heat. Enjoy the weather, because that's about all we can do. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.